All right, well, there is pretty much universal agreement that this week's presidential debate was a debacle and an insult to voters. What's not so certain is how to proceed for the next two debates, if they happen, given all the uncertainty of the president's health.
In a promo for Tuesday's debate, Fox News Sunday host Chris Wallace said he hoped to get the two candidates to engage each other.
My job is to be as invisible as possible.
It didn't go as planned.
I'm the moderator of this debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer.
Go ahead. First of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised.
According to the Washington Post, President Trump interrupted Joe Biden 71 times, forcing Wallace to interject time and again.
I hate to raise my voice, but it seems to be, why should I be different than the two of you? The country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions. I'm appealing to you, sir, to do that.
Well, and him too.
Well, frankly, you've been doing more interrupting than he has.
But
Wallace's moderating got mixed reviews, with CNN's Jake Tapper coming down hard.
The moderator who did not have control of the debate stage for much of the evening, who didn't remind the president that he was violating the rules till 1 hour and 13 minutes into the debate.
But most thought he did the best he could under the circumstances, including Geraldo Rivera on Fox.
Let me defend Chris Wallace. I mean, my God, the guy signed up to moderate a debate, and he ended up trying to referee a knife fight.
Speaking about his performance to the New York Times, Wallace said he was sad the way it turned out. As for criticism of his performance,
I guess my answer is hindsight's 20/20.
Now the question is what to do going forward.
The Commission on Presidential Debates plans to issue new rules for the rest of this year's debates.
It's unclear whether new rules will be effective.
So, Jon Keller, I kept imagining you in that role. You wrote this great piece for Master List right before the debate saying what should happen, how the moderator should handle himself, how the candidates should handle themselves. You had, your tick list of talking points. I mean, do you think, John, that Chris Wallace could have done anything differently or better?
Basically, no. I mean, it's not a case of changing the rules. In this case, you needed to change the Republican nominee to bring this into the realm of the possible. I mean, minor criticisms of Wallace. He could have jumped ugly on the president the way he did later in the debate, right up front. There was a moment there when he was really yelling at the president to cut it out, where all the years fell away and there was this little boy bully being chastised by someone with more authority than him, and it brought him up short. I was also taken aback by Wallace's statement in that New York Times interview that he never expected that Trump might behave this way. What's he been watching? But no, look, if someone comes in and they're determined to ignore the rules and sabotage you, unless you've got a bullwhip and are ready to use it, there's really nothing much you can do.
President Trump's behavior was much worse this past week than it was in the debates with Hillary Clinton 4 years ago. To that extent, I'm sympathetic to Wallace's argument that he didn't see what was coming. And I essentially agree with John. I thought Chris Wallace absolutely did the best that he could. I did think that he should have jumped in much earlier and called out President Trump for his constant interrupting. But you know what? If he had, I don't think it would have made any difference whatsoever. And I don't know that a format change is going to make any difference either, assuming that the debates can go forward now that we know that the president has COVID.
When I was watching the debate, watching Chris Wallace from the very beginning, I was thinking about my middle school son's teachers on Zoom and how you see them trying to kind of manage this unruly setting. The thing is, though, as you guys pointed out, if you look back 4 years ago, before the Hillary Clinton debates to the Republican primary debates, Donald Trump did not enter those debates in good faith as a candidate for president. He was playing the reality TV star at that time. And very much to his benefit, he was there in the center of the stage. He knew how to get attention. He knew how to suck up all the energy in the room. And you could see him, again, trying to do that again, just in a different forum. I don't know that it worked as well for him electorally, like it didn't, because it was so unpresidential. But if his goal was to try to dominate every moment and get the most attention, that's what he did. And as much as I want to defend Chris Wallace, I wish I could give him a spa gift certificate or something after all that. I do think he should have anticipated that a little bit.
Yeah.
I agree, and all of you have pointed out the fact that he didn't quite anticipate this. That's what he said. Look, whenever you're going into a debate, and again, it's not something that's easy to do, especially with someone like President Trump. But whenever you're going into a situation like this, you have to prepare for the worst case scenario. You don't say, "Oh, he's never done this before," because that's what happens every time. You say he's never done this before, and then he does. So you really have to think in the extremes. And then when you think in the extremes, you say, well, what would we do? And I think it's very important to jump in often and early. And in this particular case, I think when you wait an hour or so to come in and to correct or try to calm the president down, by then the president feels as if he has free reign, right? He has been going now for more than an hour, being able to do anything that he can. And so that's why I think it's so important to come in early and hard. I think it would have made a little bit of a difference, but the president is still the president.
You know, Jon Keller, one of the criticisms was that he was sort of like mollycoddling the president. Twice he said to him, well, I think you're going to like this next question. It was almost like he was trying to shut him up and calm him down in order to get him to listen. I mean, that's a technique, and it sort of perked him up for a bit, but people felt like, well, you know, you're changing the rules here a little bit by frankly, sort of sucking up to him.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that either. And I thought some of the questions were sort of awkwardly phrased. He would shift from asking the same question for both to tailor his questions. He just seemed a little unsure of his role. But again, I think, you know, absent a fire hose, there wasn't much he could do there. And I think, I'm afraid, Joanna's idea of a gift, the spa certificate, nix her on that. I think a bottle of bourbon is...
He said his boss has greeted him with a glass of champagne, and he didn't feel like drinking it. So, but I agree with all of you. I didn't think anybody could have done any better, and I thought he was the right person for the job.